concern for the Twins, who will look to get back in the win column tonight under the roof of Minute Maid Park. It's Game 2 against the world champion Astros as a 9-game road trip rolls on. And the Twins are hoping Max Kepler, back in the starting lineup today, will help get the job done. He has 2 home runs and 3 RBI against the Astros so far this season. The Twins pitching staff, though, will have their hands full with Alex Bregman. He has a home run in each of his last 3 games, 89 RBI on the season, and his 31-game on-base streak is the longest right now in baseball. Welcome to Minute Maid Park, everyone. I'm Audra Martin. There's no denying the Astros have a good chance at a repeat title, and it's thanks in large part to their dominant pitching staff. Yesterday, the Twins had the challenge of taking on Dallas Keuchel, and today it's not going to get any easier as they have to face Justin Verlander. It's almost a year to the day since Verlander made his Astros debut, and it's gone well ever since with an 18-9 record and impressive 2.51 ERA. Against the Twins in his career, he has the same record and an ERA just over 3. So this is a Minnesota team that knows firsthand there are not many weaknesses when it comes to Verlander's game.
He's got really good stuff. He's a competitor. He's one of the best in the game, and you know, he knows how to attack hitters. I think he prepares extremely well. He's got McCann behind the plate, so it's a lot of knowledge to match up with. But to have some success off him is you got to stick with an approach, and hopefully your approach lines up to how he's going to pitch you.
Our DQ combination is the matchup to look out for tonight. Joe Mauer's had success against Verlander in his career, hitting .329 with 10 extra base hits. Not to mention, no other active player has more hits against Verlander than Mr. Mauer. Coming up, the Twins are giving the opener experience another shot tonight. Dick Kramer and LaTroy Hawkins take a look at why Trevor May is the right guy for the job.
Ball on Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. The season series between Houston and Minnesota tied at 2 apiece tonight from Houston, game 2 of a 3-game series. And as baseball is changing, we find ourselves having to add some new terms to our baseball vocabulary. Trevor May will be the opener for the Minnesota Twins tonight. And eventually, Cole Stewart will be the primary pitcher tonight as the Twins hope to beat Justin Verlander and the defending world champs. And we welcome you to Minute Maid Park. Dick Bramer along with LaTroy Hawkins as the Twins hope to bounce back after a tough ball game last night and a 4-1 loss. And they've got Trevor May for the second time in Twins history doing the opening tonight.
The opening tonight. Okay, I like it. Well, Trevor May, he's just the right guy to do it. His splits are where they need to be successful. Being an opener pitcher, last 5 games, been outstanding. The other night in Texas, struck out 4 out of the 6 hitters that he faced. And his curveball, his fastball, his changeup, his slider, everything is working for him right now. He just has to stay away from getting too rotational, stay within his mechanics, and we should have a good 2 innings tonight.
Unfortunately, the Astros are not sending an opener to the mound. They're sending an old Twins nemesis, Justin Verlander, to the mound, one of the top 10 pitchers in the game. He'll be taking on Joe Mauer. 2 familiar foes will face off one another here tonight in Houston. Cleveland against the Indians, a team that has been in the playoffs the last few years. Look like they're going again this year, and it will end in Houston. The defending world champions have the same record at the same point of the year that they had last year when they did win the World Series, 85-53. And Paul Molitor hoping that the Twins can get to where Cleveland and Houston is as soon as possible, get back into the playoffs after getting into the wild card game a year ago. The Menards batting order for the Twins has Joe Mauer in the leadoff spot, Logan Forsythe batting second, then Jorge Polanco, Robbie Grossman, Jake Cave, Miguel Sano, Max Kepler, A-Ray Adrianza, and Chris Jimenez making his first starting assignment behind the plate for the Twins since being obtained.
Tonight's starting pitcher stats are brought to you by Home Furniture. Justin Verlander, twin killer, featuring a fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. And what makes him absolutely outstanding, he would throw any of those pitches at any time in the count.
Making his 30th start of the year, and he's been Houston property for just over a year now. 240 strikeouts in 181 innings. Northland Ford defense for the Astros. Tony Kemp is in left field. George Springer is in center. Josh Reddick in right. Alex Bregman will get some MVP consideration. He's at third. Correa, Altuve up the middle. Yuli Gurriel at first, and Martin Maldonado acquired from the Angels after the McCann injury, and Altuve back in the starting lineup after getting last night off. Been dealing with some knee difficulty, and Mauer will stand in. He'll be followed by Logan Forsythe and Jorge Polanco. And the first pitch over, strike one. And those of you who've watched Verlander know that he's nothing like the pitcher he was in his first 4 or 5 years with Detroit. He will cruise along at 92, 93 miles per hour until there's somebody in scoring position, and then he'll revert back to the hard thrower. This one down the line, about 5 feet foul, 0-2 to Mauer. He has an extra gear that he can get to when his shutout is being threatened.
Well, the good thing about Justin Verlander is when he threw a lot harder, he still knew how to pitch. So when he lost some of that fastball, having it consistently, he wasn't lost. He was still able to, throw all his pitches for strikes. Still had his great command, and that's why he's steady evolved into one of the best pitchers in our league.
Mauer with a liner to Correa. Mauer hit the ball hard a couple of times against Verlander, but 3 pitches, 1 out. And that'll bring up Logan Forsythe.
Verlander features a fastball 93 to 97 miles an hour with some arm side run going into the right-hand hitter. Curveball 78 to 81, 11 and 5 actions. Very good pitch. Slider 84 to 88. Sweep and tilt, and his changeup. What he would throw if he gets deep into counts. He'll mix that in. You see, he throws it 1.4% of the time.
Pitched against the Twins earlier this year at Target Field. Game time temperature 35 degrees, but didn't matter to him. He shut the Twins down and out. It was the only game that Houston would win in that 3-game series. 1-0 to Forsythe. Foul back, and it's 1-1. And Trevor May getting loose, as if he were about to come out of the bullpen, which essentially is what he will do. Even though the game is just underway. Over the inside corner, it's 1-2.
What makes Verlander so successful, he pounds the strike zone with all his pitches. He's going to come after you. He's going to throw that fastball early in the count. He's going to get you swinging at his breaking balls. Inside, outside, quality pitches.
Toward the gap in left center field, and a diving catch by Kemp in the gap. So Forsythe makes a bid for a hit, and Kemp catches the line drive for out number 2.
Slider from Justin Verlander. Forsythe was able to get a good swing on it, and just a great catch, running catch by Kemp out in left field. Two outs, 2 lineouts.
2 down, and now Polanco entered the ball game with a strikeout last night. Strike 1. So many numbers supporting Verlander's case for being one of the best of his generation. One of them is he has 201 career wins. 101 of them have been in his home ballpark, and he has won 100 decisions on the road. Now just think about that. Everybody knows it's tougher to win on the road than it is at home, but he's 166 away from his home ballparks. That, to me, that's just amazing.
It tells me he gets a good night's rest wherever he is.
But I mean, that speaks to his stuff and his ability to maintain his stuff. A couple of years ago, several years ago, some people thought that his better years were behind him, but he's been healthy, and he just brings top shelf stuff to the mound wherever he's pitching. There's a high pop-up down the right field line, chased by Gurriel, Altuve, and it's Altuve with a basket catch in foul territory to end a 1-2-3 first inning. October run like they did last year. Hope they can hold off the Oakland A's for one thing. It's a 2.5 game lead. That's it for the Astros over the Athletics. Here's the Menards batting order. Springer, Altuve, Bregman. Then Correa, White, and Gurriel. Reddick, Maldonado, and Kemp. Facing Trevor May, who was the first Twins organizational pitcher to ever open. He did it in Rochester about a month and a half ago. So he's used to this, or at least has some history with it. And you'll see how he fares against the Houston lineup.
Tonight's starting pitcher stats are brought to you by Home Furniture. Trevor May making his 26th major league start. First as a major league opener. Fastball, curveball, changeup, 92 to 95, very good carry, 89 to 91 sinker. And you'll see his very good curveball that he's been featuring the last couple of days.
First pitch bounced up the middle of base hit. Polanco was playing over in the hole, and Springer, who'd gone just 1 for 16 against the Twins this year, gets a base hit on May's first pitch. And now Altuve will bat. Altuve again held out of the lineup in last night's ball game. Astros winning at 4-1. Altuve, for whatever reason, has faced Trevor May 4 times. He's gotten 3 hits, hit a home run, and driven in 4 runs.
May last pitched on Friday night in Texas. 1 1/3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts.
The very thing that suits May in this role for Paul Molitor is the very thing that leads some people to think that he can be an effective major league starter. Not an opener, but a starter where he could be expected to go 5, 6 or more innings. A 4-pitch mix, plenty of velocity. We've seen 94, 93 already with the fastball. Cole Stewart, who will be the primary pitcher, is already getting loose. We saw this the other day in Texas when the primary pitcher was warming up as soon as the opener threw his first pitch. One and one. Line to left. And a run and catch made by Robbie Grossman on the warning track. So the Astros can hit a line drive for an out too. 1 down. Northland Ford defense with a nice play by Robbie Grossman. That ball wasn't in the air very long. In the outfield, it's Grossman in left, Cave in center, and Kepler in right. Now to the infield, Ray Adrianza, Jorge Polanco, Logan Forsythe, and Joe Mauer, and Chris Jimenez behind the plate. Jimenez made his first start for the Twins at first base. Finished the ball game on the mound, hit a home run.
Look at that big smile. Sat down and had lunch with him today at the ballpark and just talking baseball and talking about leadership in the clubhouse and pitch selection, pitch sequence, everything.
Pitch is up, ball 1. Bregman, a few games ago, moved from the 2nd spot on the batting order to the 3rd because of those numbers. I'll be very interested to see who wins the American League MVP award.
I'm going to say the Martinez or Mookie Betts.
You're going with one of 2 Boston Red Sox players.
And I hope that both those guys having great seasons on the same team doesn't hurt one or the other.
Well, May looking off in the distance. I think he thought he might have hit the corner with that pitch, but it's 2-0. Because of the position he plays, if I had a vote, and I don't, I would go with Francisco Lindor. But this guy will get some votes, as he should.
Lindor's having a great season.
2-0.
He hit his 30th home run the other night.
The changeup. The inside corner called for a strike, 2-1. For those of you who are unaware of what this is all about, having an opener, in a nutshell, the idea is to have someone else face the other team's best hitters the first time, and then let the primary pitcher pick the game up from there. That's why Stewart is warming up.
You want the primary pitcher to face the bottom half of the lineup 3 times instead of having to face the top half of the lineup, which usually have the better hitters 3 times.
And it looks like Stewart's warmed up and ready to go. He can't wait to get to the mound here because he's a Houston native, born in Houston. Couple of off-speed pitch over for called strikes, and it's 2-2 to Bregman, who started the game with a home run in last night's game. A rocket to left that got the Astros headed in the right direction.
There's a fastball in a good hitter's count. I think it's 3-2 from Gibson. He deposited in the left field seats, but every at bat after that, he took some very bad swings because Gibby was committed to pitching him in and making him swing at the breaking balls down in the dirt.
Bregman's bounced into 14 double plays. Ooh, fastball up and in. And some of this, I suppose, is in part because the Astros have a good hitting club. They got a lot of guys on base. But they have grounded into almost twice as many double plays as they've turned.
They're putting the ball in play. No strikeouts. Putting the ball in play.
Uriel leads the team, having grounded into 22 double plays. They have 7 different players with 10 or more GIDPs. 3-2. Springer goes, and the pitch hit to the left field corner. And off the wall, Springer to third. They're going to wave him around. Here's the throw, and it's up the line and into the infield. It's a double for Bregman, and a 1-0 Houston lead. Last night he hit a similar ball that carried over the scoreboard in left. This time it hit the scoreboard for an RBI double. You pitchers always talk about never wanting to make the count go full because of this. The runner takes off and it leads to a run.
This is a slider cutter that may try to get to the outside part of the plate, but it hovered around the middle end, and Bregman's right on the swing path and was able to put a crush in that ball into the left field corner.
And now Correa.
And he set him up with the fastball in, up and in. It looked like it was a lot closer than what it was. If Bregman would have been diving, the ball would have hit him.
Breaking ball over. Every time we come here, wherever we go, I go down to the field for batting practice. There was none yesterday, so I went down there today for the first time. And it's remarkable how close that wall in left field looks. And about the time I was pondering all that, Enos Cabell, great baseball player. A lot of his career was spent here in Houston. He's kind of an ambassador for them. And I asked him, I said, what's the difference between hitting here and hitting at Fenway Park? Because Fenway with the green monster looks so close. But if anything, to me, this looks closer. And he says, well, it might be, but he said the big difference is the height of the wall. And he pointed out to Bregman's home run yesterday. He said that would not have been a home run at Fenway Park. You can hit a line drive home run here. There's Mr. Cabell, great ambassador for the game. And he said here you can hit a line drive home run, but it's a lot harder to do in Boston.
That ball that he hit yesterday in Boston would have been a long single.
Yeah, that's what the discussion went like. Maybe a double and maybe even just a single. This is up the line and it'll roll foul. Correa tapping it foul. The idea of the opener, of course, is for whoever it is that is opening that he puts up a 0, maybe 2. And it didn't work out well in Texas with Gabriel Moya giving up a 2-run home run. And now here already in the first, the Astros have touched Trevor May for a run. And this will be the 15th pitch for May.
We hadn't seen that good slider curveball that we saw the other night in Texas. It was getting through that pitch. Every breaking ball that he's thrown has been hovering around the middle end part to these right-hand Houston Astro hitters.
Popped up right side. Forsythe is out. Kepler comes in. Forsythe with the catch, 2 away.
Pizza ran for the win. No extra outs. You can't give Major League teams more than 3 outs. That's it. And especially the good Major League teams. You start giving them 4 and 5 outs in the inning, they're going to put up crooked numbers, and you have no chance at winning that ball game. No extra outs tonight. We made a few errors so far this road trip that have snowballed into big innings for the other team.
And now Tyler White. And over for a strike. First time the Twins tried this opener concept was Sunday in Texas. And a lot of people who didn't watch or listen to the game probably thought, well, that didn't work out too well. The final score was 18-4. But the bludgeoning occurred after the first 2 pitchers had come out of the game. Through 5 innings, it was just a 3-0 ball game. Cole Stewart, not Cole Stewart, but Zach Littell. He had a decent outing, his best outing in the big leagues, picking up the game in the 2nd inning. Gave up 1 run over the next 4 innings. 2 strikes to Tyler White, excuse me.
This will be Trevor May's 18th pitch.
The way this will play out, and the Twins will do this numerous times. You look at Littell. He'll do this numerous times in the month of September. If the opener, in this case May, if he had gone boom, 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 gotten through the inning with just 10 pitches, then he likely would be given a chance to pitch a 2nd inning. But as it is now, pitch count approaching 20. This one down the line, but foul. It's a pretty good bet at this point that Trevor will just pitch the 1st inning, and then Cole Stewart will pick up the game in the 2nd.
If you get Tyler White right here, that'd be a 5th hitter. So that puts Cole Stewart in position to face 6, 7, 8, 9. Hopefully face the bottom half of that lineup 3 times, as opposed to Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Correa.
1-2 to White.
Get this ball away from the right-hand hitter. Get it on the other side.
Jimenez pops out of the crouch, threatens a throw to 2nd. Years ago, Chris Jimenez was catching for the Iowa Cubs, Pacific Coast League.
Iowa Cubs in the Pacific Coast League.
I know it doesn't sound right, does it?
Not at all.
Up the middle into center field, a base hit. Bregman around 3rd. He'll score, and Cave's throw way off the mark. And the ball gets away from Jimenez, and White will hold up at 2nd base. Cave didn't throw to the cutoff man at all. He had no chance of getting Bregman. It's a 2-0 ball game, and on the overthrow, White goes to 2nd. So as was the case Sunday afternoon, the opener gives up a couple of 1st inning runs.
Fastball right down Broadway, a changeup right down the middle of the plate. They shoot that ball right back where it came from. And not a terrible throw by Cave. Jimenez came up to catch that ball because he witnessed the runner advancing to 2nd base, and he just didn't catch it.
In the inning, 3 hits, a line out, and a pop-up. What we saw from him pitching in a different role was a lot of swings and misses, but then you look who he's pitching to here in this 1st inning. Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Correa. White with an RBI single, and now here's Gurriel.
hadn't seen that sharp breaking ball that we saw the other night in Texas yet.
Down and away a ball. Gurriel started the ball game at first base yesterday, but then moved to second. And Marwin Gonzalez left the ball game with an oblique issue. Don't know how severe it is yet. They hopefully caught it in time. And the left. Gone, home run. And it is 4-0. 4 hits, 4 runs, a quick start for the Astros with Gurriel hitting his 10th of the year.
Hanging breaking ball over the heart of the plate. 87 miles an hour.
And the very type of home run that Bregman hit last night.
Just hadn't been able to get that breaking ball away from those right-hand hitters.
The hope was, of course, that Twins wouldn't be asking Cole Stewart to enter the game in the middle of an inning. So now Andrew Vasquez is getting loose in case Maine can't get out of the first inning himself, and then have Stewart start the second inning. The batter is Josh Reddick. And strike one.
Best breaking ball right there. 78 miles an hour curveball at the bottom of the zone.
And that hits the mound. Forsythe with a high throw, and he's safe. That ball on the second hop hit the slope of the mound and kicked toward Forsythe, who ran in front of Polanco and had a much more difficult throw. So base hit for Reddick, and the inning continues.
Fastball outside, reached out there and got it, and it looked like May kind of hesitated, like, wow, I could have got that ball. Forsythe had to come in backhanded and throw across his body. Wasn't able to make a good throw over the Mauer. An infield hit for Josh Reddick.
5 hits in the inning, 4 runs, and now here is Maldonado.
So at this point, if Vasquez come in the game, he's going to come in and pitch the second, because we're back at the top of the lineup.
No, but that's, you know, you're right. The whole point, of course, is to avoid Stewart having to face the top hitters, but we've gotten to the point where they may hit again in the second inning. Popped up. And Mauer calls off Jimenez, and finally the inning ends. But a good start for the Astros again. They score 4 against Trevor May in the first. RBI double. Our Sanford Health injury report with Gurriel following up in the first inning with a 2-run home run. Our Sanford Health injury report involving Hector Rondon, who thankfully looks like he'll be okay. Contusion of his right wrist. He took a wicked line drive and they took him out of the ball game right away. And no fracture. Sure they're going to want to let him sit out for a little bit of time here. That's the thing, you know, you look at what the Astros have done beefing up their bullpen. Here is Robbie Grossman to start the second. Or maybe a better example would be what Oakland has done with its bullpen. You never want to see your players get hurt, the high-end guys, the key guys on a team, but Grossman with a liner to center. Twins have hit Verlander pretty hard here. A couple of lineouts in the first, and now Grossman with a sharp single to center. But if something were to, heaven forbid, happen to Blake Trinan, the Oakland closer, they got what, 3 different candidates who could, you know, fill the void because they've got extensive closing experience.
That is a luxury that some teams have and others do not. Multiple closers.
Jake Cave will bat.
Verlander's getting the ball elevated right now, and not elevated high enough where the Twins hitters can't make contact. Elevated where they can put a really good swing on it. They've hit some really hard balls so far.
And Cave takes a strike. Cave's had a good road trip. Popped 3 home runs in Texas.
Jake Cave was telling me he had never been to Texas.
Yeah. Breaking ball, missing. It's 1-1.
The way Maldonado caught that ball, it's like he crossed him up a little bit. Well, he was trying to work so hard to make that pitch a strike. Kind of look like they're not on the same page.
2-1. Nick Marley is the home plate umpire tonight. Twins saw an awful lot of Verlander, of course, when he was with the Tigers all those years. Mentioned he beat the Twins earlier this year at Target Field. Last year, early in the season, he had a rare bad outing against the Twins. Swung on and missed. Back on April 21st of 17, again at Target Field, he lasted just 5 innings. Only 3 hits, but 6 walks and 4 earned runs. And he ended up taking the loss.
Very unusual outing by Justin Verlander with 6 walks.
2-2 to Cave. On and missed. Verlander has his first strikeout.
It was a good example of having just a little something extra in the tank when he needs it. Reach back and get it. All his other fastball, 92, 93. 2 strikes on Cave, and he was able to reach back and get 95, just right by him.
That's what we were talking about before. There's nobody in scoring position, but Verlander seemed stung by Grossman's base hit, and he can take his velocity and his stuff to a higher level. Here is Sano. Off the plate, ball 1. And Sano got a hit, drove in a run last night, but the average still at just 202.
Get it up in one swing.
95 and a swing and a miss.
Go out there, 1, 2 hits a night, 2 hits a night.
Tough battle for any right-handed hitter facing this guy, but you know, Sano fares here because Verlander can do that. He didn't get the call. He thought it was a call. Should have been a called strike. It's 2-1.
Not too happy. You can tell by his body language. So a good curveball. It's at the bottom of the strike zone. It's a borderline pitch. Marley decided to call it a ball.
2-1 to Sano. And now 3-1 with Kepler on deck. And Sano takes a walk, first and second, with one out.
Just good at bat, being patient from Miguel Sano. He's able to walk, able to get a walk out of that. Held off some very tough pitches.
Tonight's BP Brighter picture involving Max Kepler, who, even though the average is not where it needs to be, he's done a nice job doing some damage against off-speed pitching, curves and sliders. And he'll face some good ones here from Justin Verlander. And a crisp fastball for strike one.
Very good for the Twins to be able to strike back, cut that, just chip into that deficit of 4 runs. They can get one back here, go out and throw up a 0 and continue to just chip away against Mr. Verlander. Sounds easy.
Yeah. Fastball. And it's 0-2. Verlander acquired prior to the August trade deadline, not the July deadline. Signed through next year. And a very nice block by Maldonado. And the haul for Detroit included, I guess haul is a relative term. The players going to Detroit were an outfielder by the name of Juan Ramirez, an outfielder by the name of Daz Cameron, a catcher by the name of Jake Rogers, and a right-handed pitcher by the name of Franklin Perez.
Daz Cameron is Mike Cameron's son.
Yes.
Former big leaguer.
Former All-Star. Had a great career. Kepler fouls it back. So as we play the Tigers 19 times in the coming years, you may hear some of their names. The Tigers sure hope that you'll hear their names for many years to come, because they gave away, they did not give them away. They traded Justin Verlander, and roughly 2 years and 2 months of his contract to get what they got from Houston. A high fly down the right field line. He'll be back in the seats. Now the closest comp, I suppose, 2 of them for the Twins were Johan Santana most recently and Frank Viola in 1989. Viola had come off the Cy Young Award season of 1988, and Santana, of course, had 1 year left, and the Twins got 5 players back, and of those, Carlos Gomez was probably the best player of the bunch. But in that instance, the Mets were getting just 1 year of Johan Santana before he became a free agent.
And that's when you're in that win now mode, and that's where they were.
Runners will advance with Sano just barely getting there, and now he's rolling in pain. Miguel Sano with a late slide into second, and he is hurt. Astros are looking at the video to see whether the safe call was made correctly or not, and I think they're going to challenge it. But let's check first on Sano's well-being, because it seems to be very much in question. issue last year about this time was his left leg, and it was the tuck under leg. And Sano still is flat on his back in the infield grass.
He was rolling on his back, calling timeout. And I'm surprised Correa didn't tag him.
And it is the left leg they are looking at. That is where the rod was put in. And when he first went in and started writhing, that was the first thing I thought and feared. The front leg, the right leg, hit the bag. The tuck under leg is the leg that had the rod inserted to stabilize the leg just about a year ago. And we'll see once he gets up if he'll be able to put any weight on that leg at all. And the Astros are challenging it, and Tony Leo's going to ask for a stretcher. My goodness. See in the right hand side of your screen, the challenge is being executed as Sano is sitting up now, but that is it. We're showing the replay here, and the right leg went in fine. It's the tuck under leg that came in, hit the bag, and something happened to Sano's left leg. It was a stress reaction in the left shin area that caused him to miss a good chunk of the season. He tried to come back and be a bat in the lineup for the wild card game, and he got a handful of at bats, and it was a difficult decision for the Twins, but they decided not to add him to the playoff roster. And so then the rod was inserted. Take another look at the left leg. That's the apparent area of concern. It was the shin itself that went into the bag, not the foot, it appeared. And they're going to bring a card out to get Miguel Sano.
Looks like all his weight ended up landing on that left leg.
And of course, the bag doesn't move, and when you are as big as he is, and the slide was as late as it was, the call stands, but that's hardly relevant right now when Miguel Sano is going to need to be taken from the field on a utility card.
I was wondering why Correa didn't tag him again after he rolled off the bag.
Runners advance on a pitch in the dirt. Sano's the designated hitter in tonight's game, and he is unable to put any weight at all on that left leg. If you took the few things that went right for the Twins this year on one side of a seesaw, and then you planted all the bad things that have happened to the Twins on the other side, the good things would have been flung into the next count. And now this. Well, Paul Molitor will have to improvise. He'll have to send in a pinch runner who will take over the DH spot, and we will keep you updated on Sano's status as we are given updates, but he is done for the day, and it appears for quite some time.
Just sad because the young man's worked so hard. Dealt with a lot of adversity this year, being sent back down to the minor leagues. Get in shape, came back, started swinging the bat well. Just fell off just a little bit this last 3 weeks, and we've seen him over the course of this road trip take some good at bats. Just didn't have anything to show for it.
Tyler Austin will take over at second base and presumably take over in the DH spot. And you just hope that whatever it is won't be anything that will require any major procedures. At any rate, Sano is out of the game. Kepler will bat. He has a 2-2 count with Austin at second base and Grossman at third. Inside, Verlander's hardly been razor sharp here. He gave up some well hit balls in the first. Grossman greeted him immediately with a single in the second. He walked Sano, and now he's run the count full to Kepler after getting ahead of him 0-2.
Good pitch right here, Kepler. He driving to the gap.
And he walked him. Wasn't close. A foot inside. They're loaded up now for Adrianza. Well, again, it's game related, so it's hardly the most important thing right now, but the Astros have lost their challenge now for the balance of through the seventh inning. Adrianza will have a chance as he comes to the plate representing the tying run. Verlander from the full windup. Big pop-up right near the mound. Infield fly rule is called, so Adrianza's out, and on one pitch it's the second out. Well, Adrianza decides to swing at the first pitch after 2 walks, and now Jimenez will try to get something out of this threat. In last night's game, the Twins loaded the bases in the first and again in the ninth. Didn't score a run in either inning.
Jimenez will ambush. If you throw him a fastball close enough, he can put a good whack at it.
His last swing, he hit a home run, 2-run home run in Texas. His position at the time was a pitcher. Technically, he became the first Twins pitcher since Jim Cott in 1972 to hit a home run.
Maldonado and Verlander well aware of his ambush tactics. Into a first pitch breaking ball.
And now it's 0-2.
Verlander with the easy first inning. The Twins hitters making him work some in the second inning. It's his 35th pitch on the way.
Verlander finishes the threat with a strikeout at Jimenez, and the Twins leave the bases full and have lost Miguel Sano for at least a little while.
Bottom of the second in Houston. It's time for some scoop from the clubhouse. Joe Mauer is this season's nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award, which best represents, or players that best represent the game of baseball through extraordinary character, community involvement, and philanthropy on and off the field. He says it's a huge honor, very humbling to be recognized, especially considering the community he serves is the one where he grew up. Eddie Rosario did more running today, some hitting in the cage, and if he still feels good in the morning, they plan to have him take batting practice on the field tomorrow afternoon. The Twins had some VIPs in the clubhouse before the game. Members of the band Journey stopped by, and as you'd imagine, there were a lot of Journey fans in the clubhouse, including Joe Mauer and Gene Glenn, who took advantage of the photo opportunity, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Cole Stewart on the mound. He's got a 1-0 count to Tony Kemp. A swing and a miss. And I believe I've compiled now a Guinness Book of World Records for most Journey songs included. Titles of Journey songs included in one sentence. You ready? After all these years of faithfully supporting the Twins, even though the Twins have gone separate ways with some of your favorite players, don't stop believing. Now that's got to be a record, right? Four Journey songs in one sentence. Well, here's Cole Stewart. 1-2 is the count to Tony Kemp. Then he'll get to face the top of that lineup in a 4-0 ball game. He was born here in Houston, and he hopes to have his best outing as we hope for him. 1-2 to Kemp.
Stewart attended St. Pius High School here in Houston, Texas. Football player.
He turned down a football and baseball scholarship at A&M to sign with the Twins. The Texas High School Player of the Year. He went 5-1 with a 0.18 ERA, and he hit 10 home runs. 1-2. And now 2-2. Kemp, Springer, and Altuve in the second.
Cole features a 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup. He needs to keep rhythm in his delivery to avoid rushing.
And it should be easy to find the Cole Stewart fan club. They're about 5-6 rows behind the Twins dugout. There are plenty of them here. And he gets a strikeout of Kemp, and now he'll face Springer. Springer singled in the first pitch he saw from Trevor May. He scored. 3 other players scored, and it was a 4-run first. He's seen 2 pitches, and he has 2 hits. A 1-out single here in the second. And bring up Altuve. Altuve lined out to Grossman. He made a nice play. He was playing back by the warning track. And Altuve hit a line drive that wasn't in the air very long, but Grossman was able to nab it for the first out.
A lot of these Twins players called up for this September call up are auditioning for their positions and spots for next season. Well, Cole has the arsenal to get major league hitters out. He has that. When he gets into that long counts with hitters and lose them to base on balls, and he has to get better doing that and better exploiting hitter weaknesses.
And a pitch is up. He has given up 3 earned runs in all 4 of his prior outings, lasting anywhere from 2 2/3 innings to 4 2/3 innings. One and one. Foul back. 1-2.
First ball they had a chance to get enough distance to get to us. Richard?
I don't like our chances in here. Of A, getting a ball in here, and B, catching the stupid thing.
Oh, if it comes in there, it's going to get caught.
Really?
Oh, I saw AJ Przinsky.
You going to put that much faith in Bill over here, our stats guy?
I saw AJ Przinsky catch the ball the other day.
Wasn't that something? Just inside. Close pitch. Jimenez shoves the catcher's mitt in his direction, said, hey, that was a good pitch.
I think that pitch was way inside. It looked like a good pitch because Altuve stands so far from the plate. Look at all the room between Altuve and the inside part of the plate.
Tapper towards second. He might get 2. 1 and 2. Good inning for Cole Stewart. A strikeout and a ground ball double play, and it's still 4-0. Just over a year ago from the Tigers, and if all the players that the Tigers got all become regular players, it was still worth it for the Astros because they would not have won the World Series without Verlander. 13 years with the Tigers. AL MVP, that doesn't happen very often for a pitcher. Traded to the Astros for prospects, and then in the postseason, he was outstanding. And he's still healthy and outstanding again this year. Here's Joe Mauer. Mauer has already had now 80 at-bats against Verlander. He has 26 hits, hit the ball hard for an out his first time tonight. He has 4 home runs against Verlander and has drawn 15 walks, more than the 14 strikeouts. So while just about everybody else wearing a Twins uniform was happy that Verlander got traded out of the American League Central, maybe to no one's surprise, Joe Mauer has had more than his share of success against Verlander. Billy Butler retired with quite a few more hits than even Joe Mauer.
What does all those guys have in common?
American League Central, I think, right?
Exactly.
Popped up behind third. And Kemp trots after it. Makes the catch one away. So the number of at-bats, of course, that can be explained away by the divisional opponent that he played for. But the fact that Mauer's hit well over 300 against Verlander speaks to Mauer's abilities. One down, and now Logan Forsythe.
Justin Verlander labored through that second inning. Looks like he's come out in his third inning just a little bit more, with a little bit more energy.
Just out of the reach of Correa. And Forsythe has driven the ball hard twice against Verlander. He lined out to left in the first. And this one just sailed out of Correa's reach. We'll bring up Polanco.
Fastball, middle down, right in Forsyth swing pattern, and able to drop the head on that ball and hit it where nobody can catch it this time.
Polanco fouled out down the right field line. Altuve raced across the line to make the catch. And ball one. Just outside, and it's 2-0.
Borderline pitches that Verlander's probably used to getting. He's not getting right now from the home plate umpire Marley.
2-0. Popped up out of play. They say the deal last year for Verlander was completed with seconds to spare, not minutes, seconds to spare. And they finally got whatever signatures, approvals that were needed right before midnight on August 31st.
It was probably hands down the biggest move last year by any team, because that move ultimately put them over the top.
Yeah.
You hear the story about Verlander being in LA and he got that receipt. He went to eat at a restaurant and got the receipt for $1 million for being a Dodger killer.
Yeah. I don't think he paid it, but he did keep the receipt. Right. 3-1 now to Polanco. Twins trying to build another threat here in the third. They loaded the bases with one out, but couldn't push across a run in the second.
That was another borderline breaking ball that Verlander thought he should have had for a strike.
Popped up. Correa in short left field. Kemp coming in, but it's Correa's ball to take, and he catches it 2 down.
Play the new Vikings scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. With a top prize up to $100,000, it pays to be a fan.
Robbie Grossman will bat with a runner aboard and 2 out. Grossman lined a single to center, leading off the second inning, and got as far as third base. Anyway, regarding Verlander and the deadline that was barely met to execute the trade, the rule used to be, and it was changed in the late 80s, I believe, where the acquired player actually had to be in the city with his new team by midnight. There was a situation that evolved with Fred Lynn, who was he was with the Angels, I believe, and he was being dealt to the Tigers, and he didn't get to Chicago where the Tigers were in time, and therefore was ineligible for postseason play because a flight was delayed. Swung on and missed, 1-1. And they changed the rule right after that. As archaic as it sounds, it used to be that the player had to be with his team for some reason for the player to be eligible for postseason play. And after the Fred Lynn fiasco, they changed the rule. And I believe
Fred Lynn.
They voided it right after that. And if the Tigers had gotten to the postseason, he would have been able to play. I think they realized right away that, hey, this isn't fair. You know, he got air traffic in Chicago and he couldn't land, or whatever the circumstances were. They amended the rule, and Lynn would have been eligible for postseason play that year, but the Tigers didn't get in anyway. 2-1 to Grossman.
Back then, can you imagine how hard that was?
Oh.
This day and age makes it just a tad bit easier. But
stroke to the right field corner, and the shift was on. Reddick was way over in right center field. Forsythe to third, and now Reddick fires the ball into the infield, and the Twins get a run on the board thanks to Grossman's double into the right field corner. That That time the shift didn't work, with Grossman able to pull the ball into the right field corner with the right fielder way over in right center field. 96-mile-per-hour fastball, and you can see where Reddick was sitting there. He had a long way to go to get the retrieve in the corner.
He gets the ball, he misses both cutoff men, which allows Forsythe a chance to score because he started to slow down going around third base.
Here's Cave, went down swinging his first time up. An RBI hit with 2 outs against Verlander. You don't get those very often. Now Cave takes one in the dirt. That goes to the backstop. And going to third is Grossman. Another wild pitch by Verlander. One and 0.
He started this inning with a good tempo, and when he started to not get a couple close pitches, he started to get a very rotational. He's yanking the ball. I've seen him yank more balls already in the first 3 innings than I've seen him when I'm watching him in his career.
Here's a better breaking ball. Well, I think the other wild pitch was also a breaking ball, the one that led to Sano's slide to second base and him being taken off the field.
A 2-strike breaking ball that landed in front of the plate. Maldonado did a great job of blocking it, just kicked over to his glove side, and he had to run up the baseline, third baseline, to retrieve it.
Back to a fastball at 96. It's 1-2.
Take another one of those wild pitches.
Delay at home plate. Maldonado had some landscaping to do. Foul back.
97 miles an hour.
Must be nice to have that when you can get guys out at 93, 94, and then when the pressure mounts a little bit, you can just reach back and add 3-4 more miles per hour.
I'm almost positive it definitely helps.
1-2. Cave swings and misses, foul tip, and a strikeout ends the third inning, but the Twins get a couple of hits and their first run against Justin Verlander.
hosting the Royals when Francisco Lindor decided to get things going for Cleveland with his 31st home run of the season. He's now just the third shortstop ever to have multiple 30 home run seasons before turning 25 years old. He joined some pretty impressive company. The other two, Nomar Garciaparra and Alex Rodriguez. Guys.
A lot of competition. You mentioned the two guys from Boston who should get some consideration. There are two guys in Cleveland who should get some consideration. And there's probably more than one guy here in Houston, too, although the guy at the plate right now would get most of the votes, I would think, Alex Bregman. Oakland, Matt Chapman will probably get some consideration. I don't think his chances of winning it are very good, even though he's having a phenomenal year.
He can't win Rookie of the Year, right?
No, he was a rookie last year. He played about half the year for them, I believe. A strike and it's 1-1. Well, Cole Stewart faced just 3 men in a scoreless second. Now he'll cut through Bregman, Correa, and White here in the third. Two and one. Outside now 3-1. And Correa on down. A bit of an off-speed pitch there to get it over for a strike.
Change up. And here's 3-1 count.
Bouncer toward the hole. Nice pickup by Adrianza. And he throws to Mauer, one away. Carlos Correa will bat, but first we'll hear again from Audra Martin.
Well, guys, not only does Cole Stewart have to pay attention to his mechanics and the game plan and things like that throughout the course of a game, but he also has to pay attention to his body physically. Cole was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes at 8 years old. He has an insulin pump that's attached to a port in his right back hip, and the pump itself actually sits in his back pocket. That pump gives him an injection of insulin every 90 seconds, but even so, he will go into the clubhouse and check his levels between every inning, because depending on what he's eaten throughout the course of the day, how much he's drinking, stuff like that can affect those levels. So he's gotten to know his body pretty well. He can see those warning signs, and he obviously takes them very seriously. He says one of the things that he looks forward to as he goes throughout the rest of his big league career is talking to young kids to make sure that they realize just because you may have been diagnosed with diabetes, it's not something that is going to keep you from achieving your dreams, because he is a perfect example now that he's made it to the big leagues, guys.
You can see a little bit of a cord coming out of his back pocket to facilitate what Audra was talking about. Tapper left side, charging is Polanco, firing low on the run, and Mauer has to dig the ball out again. Polanco nearly committed another error. 2 down.
It's two very good two-seamers by Cole Stewart to Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa. Doesn't beat those balls into the ground for a 5-3 and a 6-3.
Stewart's not the first diabetic to be a major league pitcher. There have been a number of them who've done what Stewart is doing out there, in essence getting medical treatment, maintenance, while he's out there competing. And I'm sure that all has to be cleared, and you have to let Joe West know what's going on, or he's going to come out and take the insulin pump out of his back pocket. Aren't you glad that they Aren't you glad that they ruled that pitchers can have cheat sheets or cards with them on the mound after what happened the other day?
You know what? I was looking at that, and I wonder what Todd Jones was the first pitcher I ever seen take his hat off, look at his little chart that he had made for the hitters, and put his hat back on. I wish that Joe West would have done that with a veteran pitcher. I want to see how that would have turned out. I would have told him, get out of my face. Tell me there was a substance. What he called it? What did they say?
Can't have a foreign object out there.
Foreign substance.
Yeah.
It's a piece of paper.
A drive to right center field, chased by Kepler, still chasing it, and he chases it down. A fine running catch deep into the right field gap, and it's a 1-2-3 third for Cole Stewart. Astros up 4-1.
There's a hanging slider by Trevor May for a 2-run home run by Uriel to give the Astros a 4-0 lead. And Miguel Sano leaves the game with a left leg bruise. Hopefully it's nothing too serious and he can get back to playing the game that he loves.
It sounds like good news to me that it's just a bruise. At least I was concerned about the rod itself being displaced somehow, and if it's just a bruise, it's easy for me to say because it's not my leg being bruised, but it sounds encouraging, doesn't it?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I've been around, you've been around, you've seen things come out that are completely not true, but hopefully that's all it is. I wonder how he bruised it.
Yeah, well, banging it into the base, I would imagine. Foul back 0-2.
He banged his foot into the base and his weight fell on his leg.
It'll be Austin who replaced Sano at second base, then Kepler and Adrianza facing Verlander. It looked to me when we replayed the slide that the impact with the base was in the area that had the rod. There's Austin taking the call, third strike, one down. We'll hope for the best and hope that Miguel maybe misses a couple of games and gets back out there. Max Kepler drew a walk in the second inning. The Twins had the bases loaded with only one out. Then Adrianza popped up on the first pitch he saw in the second. Jimenez struck out. Verlander had successfully pitched out of the jam.
Verlander's been able to get that first out in the last couple innings. Outs after that.
Grounded foul wide of first.
Verlander faced 7 guys in the second inning and 5 guys in the third inning.
Away, well away, 1-1. The Twins still feel that there's a 270, 280 hitter inside of Max Kepler. And a year ago at this time, the concern was, well, is he ever going to be able to hit left-handers? And he's done that. In fact, he's hit left-handers better than right-handers this year. I don't know what the next step is for Max. Kepler came into the game hitting .248 against lefties.
I think was a good thing for Kepler is, not in a pennant race, and made some trades, and you get a chance to continue to get it right at the big league level. A good changeup by Justin Verlander. He's been struggling with his breaking pitches, and maybe he's going to stick with the fastball changeup combination until he gets a better feel for his breaking balls.
2-2 to Kepler. Checked his swing, and Verlander, by design, I suppose, is really trying to work Kepler over inside. He missed inside throughout his first plate appearance. He ended up walking him.
And Kepler hit a couple foul balls down the right field line.
Full count.
Maldonado put down changeup, fastball, and Verlander is shaking him off. Now he's going to fastball down and away.
Hit hard right on the ground sharply to Gurriel, who makes the flip to Verlander. Good at bat for Kepler. He stung the ball and beat it right into the ground. 2 down. That'll bring up Adrianza. Twins filled the bases again, and was 1 out in the second, and then Verlander got Adrianza to pop the ball up right near the mound.
On the very first pitch.
On the first pitch after a couple of walks. Strike over the inside corner. And up and away. Just another update on Sano. X-rays were taken of his lower left leg, and they were negative.
Now that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a follow-up to the diagnosis of a bruise. Of concern, of course, is the fact that perhaps he was told not to even try to put any weight on the left leg as he was being helped to the cart.
X-rays was probably just to make sure that rod hadn't moved.
All right. 1-2 to Adrianza.
And neither of us are orthopedic surgeons, but I don't know if it's possible to make that for it to move. Hit the back like that. I think it's possible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He was in obvious pain. We know that. Rolled over several times. 2-2 to Adrianza.
It's a big human being.
I don't want to speak for you. I don't think I would have made a good orthopedic surgeon. I would have required at least twice as much higher education than I went through.
Twice as much for you. You went to college. So imagine how much
fun.
more for me not going to college.
Well, Adrianza having at least a lengthier at bat with Verlander than he did in the second inning. Fouled off a leg, went for a little stroll. Swung on and missed. Reaching back for 96. Another swinging strikeout to end an inning. And it's 4-1 Houston. May in the first inning. StatCast AI powered by AWS. And it's another one of those home runs here that would not have been a home run in Boston. Landed about where Bregman's home run ended up in the first inning yesterday. It'll be Gurriel, Reddick, and Maldonado. Facing Cole Stewart, who's gotten 6 outs from 6 batters. Just off the outside corner.
Cole Stewart looks very comfortable up to this point, retiring the first 6 hitters in his hometown, Houston, Texas.
And a strike. And so far the outing for Stewart's gone about as well as it did for Zach Littell, who had a very solid outing for 4 innings at least in Texas. Talked to Zach briefly today, and he said everything felt better. It felt like he was able to attack, throw more strikes, and the results spoke for themselves. And I think we're seeing the same thing here. Teams like the Astros that have so much good top flight starting pitching don't need to consider the opener and won't consider it.
No, because they have guys that they've already deemed and already showed that they can go face a lineup 3 and 4 times.
Another nice pickoff by Adrianza going to his left, and he throws out Gurriel. The Twins, at least now the plan is they'll continue to run Barrios, Gibson, and Odorizzi out there. Veteran guys who, I guess with the exception of Odorizzi, we've seen Barrios pitch deep into a ball game. Gibson pitch deep into a ball game, went 7 innings the other day. The jury is still out on this whole concept, but given the success that the Rays had with it, if you're out of the race and the Twins are out of the race, other teams have done it, will do it. Up and away, ball 1. But again, the key is, and the Twins haven't had it happen yet, having your opener put a 0 up. Moya gave up a couple against the Rangers, and May gave up 4 today.
Hadn't gone the way it was laid out just yet.
No.
Just yet.
2-0.
I'm sure with as many times as it's planned on, the team is planning on doing it in the month of September, that we'll see some good results from it.
In the Kansas City series this weekend, it looks like the Twins are going to do it twice, Friday and Sunday. With Barrios going on Saturday. 2-1 to Reddick. And now 2-2. The infield will swing around more to the pull side with 2 strikes. And it's 3-2. Stewart walked back from a 3-0 count to get Bregman leading off the 3rd. Now it's 3-2 to Reddick. Maldonado on deck.
3-1. Looked like changeup, which is a non-competitive pitch.
Mauer with a dive. He couldn't catch it. It's a base hit for Reddick. Mauer going horizontal, but he couldn't make the catch. It's a 1-out single for Reddick here in the 4th. Wednesday, September 12th. It's Minnesota Wild Night at Target Field. A limited number of Wild theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and a Twins Wild co-branded stocking cap. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/wild or call 800-33-TWINS. Maldonado fouled out to Mauer to end the 4-run first inning. Astros sent 8 men to the plate in the first.
Martin Maldonado's one of my teammates. I played with him his rookie year in Milwaukee, 2011. Always been a very good receiver and game caller.
When the can went down here, the Astros starting to feel a little bit of heat from, they've been feeling the heat from the Mariners all along. Then Oakland climbed up and looked like they were going to be a threat. They went out and got Maldonado from the Angels. You know, and the Astros will get into the playoffs barring a huge collapse. And they will have been pushed all year long by somebody. Mariners got off to a really good start. Mariners still in the fringes of the division race and the wild card race. Oakland's put some heat on them. I would think that'd be of some value, wouldn't it? If you're a contending team, you were on a number of playoff teams with the Twins early in your career. I would think it is of some value to achieve that edge and have to stay at that level for the entire season and then get into the playoffs rather than like Cleveland. You know, they've got a big lead, really don't have anything to play for in terms of home field advantage. They're like 8 games behind Houston if they were to meet in the first round of the playoffs, and well behind the Red Sox.
I think in a situation like the Indians, you know, you have a big lead in your division. You don't want to start resting guys too soon, and you want them to be peaking at the right time.
Right.
And the right time is going into the playoffs, because you can win your division by 20 games, but you get to the playoffs and you're not playing your best baseball, and before you know it, you're gone fishing.
Right. Two strikes to Maldonado. Stewart got a ground ball double play to get out of the second inning. He'll take another one here if Maldonado cooperates. Been a good outing for Stewart in terms of number of outs gotten, 7. Also in the pitch count, just 37 pitches thrown. Popped up. Mauer with his back to the infield. Makes the catch. Nice play by Mauer. A fair ball catch. 2 according to Jeff Nelson. 2 down.
Mauer was a pretty good football player in high school.
Yeah, but he threw the ball more than he caught it.
Like that. It's a fastball inside part of the plate. Just ate Martin Maldonado up. He looped the ball over Mauer's left shoulder and was able to make a basket catch.
Tony Kemp called out on strikes his first time up. He was the first batter that Stewart faced in the second inning. Outside a ball. Snap throw to first.
Stewart's 40th pitch, 26 strikes.
Want to know to Kemp. And outside. Well, that's good. 26 and 14. Got a couple of 3-ball counts. Hasn't walked anybody.
Two seamers working pretty good.
Tapper to second. Forsythe charges. Fires to Mauer, and it's another good inning for Cole Stewart. And it's still 4-1 Houston. Middle innings here. When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinion that cuts through the hype. Catch Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. Weekdays at 4 p.m. Central, only on FS1. Pepsi fans of the game. The Viking fan is here anyway, sitting next to a Twins fan.
School.
You an NFL guy? You spend a lot of time watching the NFL?
Only the Kansas City Chiefs and whoever they're playing.
Well, that's because your godson is quarterbacking for them, right? Patrick Mahomes.
That's the only reason I watch. First game Sunday against the LA Chargers.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Jimenez leading off the Twins' fifth. Couple of hops scooped up by Bregman. And down. Back to the top of the order in Mauer. Mauer with a liner to short, picked off by Correa, and then he had a fly ball to left.
Verlander 70 pitches, 47 strikes.
Down and in a ball. Given what the Tigers have gone through and will continue to go through, gotta believe Verlander's thrilled with the decision, and the decision was his. The Astros and the Tigers had the deal put in place, but Verlander, because of his status as a 10-5 guy, had the right to veto the trade and, for whatever reason, stay in Detroit if he wanted to. But even if they had not won the World Series last year, they will contend for that this year and very likely again next year.
It made absolutely no sense for him to stay in Detroit.
No, I never
whatsoever.
understood why you wouldn't, get on your knees and thank Al Avila for putting the deal together and go, because it was clear at that point what direction the Tigers were going. I think they'd already traded Justin Upton and were trying to trade everybody they could that had a major contract.
Well, you still want to make sure you go into a great situation.
Well, but didn't we know at that point that this was a pretty good situation?
Yeah, but I'm sure he had to do his own homework on it. Sometimes everything that looks good on the outside is not good on the inside. He's just trying to make sure that everything lined up with what he had heard and talked to some of the people that actually play in the organization. And it's hard to cut ties of being in Detroit for how long? 13 years?
Yeah. Drive to right center and hit fairly deep. Going back is Reddick, tracking it, still on the grass, makes the catch 2 away. We've seen it for years now, the right fielder cheating away from the line when Joe is at the plate. And balls like that would be doubles otherwise are being caught because the right fielder is in essence playing in right center field. All that said, a nice catch by Reddick. 2 down and now Forsythe. Forsythe with a line out to left and a solid single out of the reach of Correa in the 3rd. Strike 1 on the outside corner.
Forsythe's put 2 good swings on fastballs from Justin Verlander. Line out to this left fielder and a line drive over the shortstop's head.
Have you ever traded around a trade deadline right before the end of a trading period?
The first trading period, right?
Well, July or
31st.
August, but July, sure.
Yes, twice.
To a better situation than where you were in terms of being in the standings?
I traded from the Yankees to the Astros. It was a better situation because we wasn't going to the playoffs in New York. And my last year plan in 2015, I got traded from the Colorado Rockies to the Toronto Blue Jays.
And they were going to the playoffs.
Well, they were playing well. They were leading the division.
Okay. 1-2 to Forsythe.
I remember about that trade. I got a tweet from somebody that told me, we're going to show you how it feels to get rooted for by a whole country, not just one state.
Gurriel in foul ground catches Forsythe. Pop up in Verlander. He's retired 7 in a row since Grossman's RBI double. Stewart's done a nice job.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job with his two-seamer, keeping it down, letting the rotation do what it needs to do, going down into the ground, and the results of that of the Houston Astros hitters beating that ball into a ground, just like Keuchel did the night before. You keep the ball down, you get a lot of ground outs.
Now the second time through the top of the Houston order, starting with George Springer, who has 2 singles. He's only seen 2 pitches. And now he takes inside off the plate, ball 1. Well, the Twins have done a nice job with Springer this year. He has been limited, or was limited, to just 1 hit and 16 at bats against the Twins, but he picked up 2 very quick singles here tonight. And now 2-0.
Fastball in, he backed that up with a changeup in. Get the count to 2-0. Now, if he's going to be successful in this league, when he get the counts like this, he's going to have to be able to throw his off-speed pitches for strikes.
Something you pointed out Verlander's done for years, right? He can throw any pitch at any time. He misses inside here, 3-0. Good outing going with 3 innings worth of outs and just 10 batters faced.
And no walks so far.
3-0 to Springer.
He's swinging if it's close.
Chopper to Forsythe. Down. Most of the outs on the ground, and that's to be expected.
Another really good fast sinking fastball down in the zone from Cole Stewart on a 3-0 pitch. It's a lazy ground ball to Forsythe to get the speedy Springer at first base.
Altuve is lined out to left and bounced into a double play. When you see it like this, when you see what Stewart's done, you're reminded that pitch to contact works. He's gotten 10 outs on just 45 pitches.
And 7 ground balls.
Yep. Don't care to adjust that thought. 8 ground balls, 2 down. Sounded like he cracked his bat, 2 down. As impressive as it is to throw 97, 98 and rack up a strikeout or 2 every half inning, the idea is to have your starting pitcher, your primary pitcher, whatever, get as many outs as he can with in the neighborhood of 100 pitches. This stuff works. If it's well executed, pitch to contact might even be preferable to swing and miss stuff in terms of getting the maximum number of outs possible.
I would take a 2-pitch ground ball to the shortstop anytime over a 3-4 pitch strikeout.
Breaking ball over, strike 1. Stewart, as we said, a Houston native, and he's pitching very well here in his hometown, and it's remindful of 3 years ago when Tyler Duffey did the same thing. Tyler Duffey came close to shutting the Astros down and out, and he ended up being relieved in the 9th inning, and the bullpen had a tough time, and Astros ended up winning the ball game. But Duffey was outstanding through 8 innings. Down to the right field corner, and a fair ball. And it'll be a double for Bregman, who bounces one into the seats. Bregman off the cinders of the warning track, his second double of the ball game.
First double in the first inning off of Trevor May was off the left field wall, and that double off of Cole Stewart was down the right field line. Or stand-up double.
And now Correa's hit a pop-up to second and a ground ball to short. In terms of what this concept has meant to Zach Littell, and tonight Cole Stewart, you can understand why teams across baseball are intrigued, at least, about this. Depending on whose turn it is in the rotation to be either a starter or a primary pitcher. As much success as the Rays have had doing it, they don't do it when Blake Snell's turn is up in the rotation.
And we won't be doing it when Jose Barrios' turn is up in the
exactly.
Or Jake Odorizzi or Kyle Gibson.
But for guys like this who are just trying to get their feet wet, maybe it's the way to go.
And I hope it's just the way to go until they've got them feet wet, holding their pitches just a little bit better to the point where they can go around the lineup 3 times. hopefully this is not something that's going to last forever.
Right, right.
Because once again, how does this affect the relievers? How does this affect them? If they're getting paid off saves and holds and sometimes wins and losses, first inning wouldn't equate that. Exactly. How do you?
But you can lose, and that'll be the fate of Trevor May unless the Twins get this game turned around. And I would imagine the preferred protocol, if Stewart continues to pitch this well in this situation as a primary pitcher, would be for Paul Molitor to get a knock on the door, or Garvin Alston to knock on the door, and have Stewart himself say, you know what, I think I'm ready to, I hate to use this analogy, take the training wheels off. I want to start. Give me a start. Let me go.
Easy, 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 Richard. He won't be doing that.
I'm not
Those
saying
smart guys in the clubhouse, like Paul Molitor and Garvin, they'll let him know when he's ready for the training wheels to come off.
But wouldn't you want the pitcher himself to kind of force the issue? I'm not saying they're going to say yes, but you know, if he's up to the point where his confidence is built, where he thinks he can start the game and pitch through 5-6 innings.
No, once again, those smart guys who've been in the dugout a long time and played the game, Hall of Famer, they'll let him know when he's ready to take that next step.
3-2 now to Correa with White.
But I understand what you're saying. It does says a lot about the player if he goes in there, but you're a young guy. You can do a lot of talking, but you're going to be talking to guys who've seen a lot of baseball. Yeah. They've seen a lot of pitchers come and go.
Full count to Correa. Just missed the outside corner, his first walk. And now first and second, 2 down. The bullpens here, the visiting bullpens, are all but obscured. Garvin Alston is on the phone. And I would guess that would be to get someone warmed up. White singled in a run and scored a run in the first inning. And he hit a fly ball deep to the gap in right center field, and Kepler made a nice running catch. On and away a ball.
The 3-2 fastball to Correa. You see Chris Jimenez set up inside, and he had to come all the way across his body to catch that ball and the fastball away. Cole didn't take his body towards where he was trying to throw the ball. He spent off, got rotational, and he yanked the ball across home plate.
1-0. There's the outside corner. Andrew Vasquez getting loose in the Twins pen. Swung on and missed on 1-2. Still one good pitch away from wrapping up 4 good innings in relief of the opener, Trevor May.
It's a good fastball in a good spot away from the right-hand hitter where he couldn't get to it. Got a couple options he can use. He can go back to the breaking ball, or he can double up with that same fastball away from White.
Play blue fastball. See the pitch count pretty respectable. Here in the 5th, hoping to finish things off. 2-2. Tapper to third. Whole bunch of ground ball outs and 4 encouraging innings for Cole Stewart. Very likely, I would guess, he is done for the day. And he did a nice job as tonight's primary pitcher. Sports North is presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. He came home, and while he didn't conquer the Houston lineup, if in fact he's done, and we believe he is, 4 good innings. And he did a really good job. The Astros got 4 runs against Trevor May, and the Twins' experience so far in 2 games has been just the opposite of what the intention is, to have somebody put, well, there's no activity in the bullpen. Maybe he'll get a 5th inning. But the idea is to have the opener put the zeros up and then allow the primary pitcher to pitch with a little less pressure, and you hope for outings like they got from Zach Littell and Cole Stewart.
He did pitch with a little less pressure.
Well,
they were down 4-0 when he came in the game.
But let's hope that they can pitch that well. All of them will be asked to do that after the openers pitched a scoreless first. We haven't seen that yet.
It's coming. It's coming.
1-2 to Polanco, then Grossman and Kay facing Verlander.
Cole Stewart's done a great job keeping the ball down. You get hurt when you start to elevate the ball, and the sinker doesn't do much. When it's down, it does what it's supposed to do. When it's up, it just runs.
1 high hop to Verlander, to Gurriel, 1 away. And it'll bring up Grossman, who has 2 of the 3 Twins hits against Verlander tonight. There's a double, there was a walk. Stewart got the last out, and it looks like they're going to send him back out there for a 5th inning of work. Good.
And I'm sure it helps having a veteran catcher, Chris Jimenez, keeping the young man calm. Tell him, just follow my lead. Just follow my lead.
And a strike to Grossman. And I would trust that Cole Stewart was smart enough to do just that.
He should be. You got a guy that's been here before, and this is your first rodeo.
Another slow breaking ball for a called strike, and it's 0-2. Grossman has his average now into the 260s, 264 after a bit of a slow start. Had a much better second half. And Grossman, too, a Houston native.
You know, the knock on Cole Stewart has never been whether his stuff was good enough. It was all about maturity and understanding how to attack hitters with the arsenal that he has.
Bregman gets Grossman by a step, 2 down. That'll bring up Jake Cave. 2019 season tickets are on sale now. Season ticket holders get the best seats at the best price and automatically become part of the Sweet Spot Rewards and Benefits program. You can learn more at twinsbaseball.com/season tickets or by calling 800-33-TWINS. Twins will open the season next year at home in March against the Indians. Twins have to be in and out of town before the Final Four next year.
I'll be at the Final Four next year since it's in Minneapolis.
Fouled back by Cave.
I'm a huge college basketball fan. Love it.
Well, I've been to a few of them. Final Fours. A couple of teams that I covered went there. The 1980 Iowa Hawkeyes and the Gophers in the mid-90s.
What team in the mid-90s for the Gophers? Was Sean Leonard on one of those teams? No?
Swung on and missed. Sam Jacobson.
Bobby Jackson?
Bobby Jackson. Yep. Lost to Kentucky. No, they lost. Yeah, they lost to Kentucky.
The Gophers had, they got some good players over at University of Minnesota.
Cave strikes out. Verlander has his 3rd straight 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. Tria, team physician for the Minnesota Twins. On the medical front, Miguel Sano had to leave this ball game early with a bruised lower left leg on a slide into second base. Cole Stewart picked up the ball game in the 2nd. He's pitched 4 scoreless innings. He'll face Gurriel, Reddick, and Maldonado here in the 6th. Astros getting 4 runs on 5 hits against Trevor May in the 1st. 1 strike. Gurriel hit the 2-run home run in the 1st inning to double the Astro lead. Twins got 1 back. And Verlander has pretty much shut the door ever since the Twins scored their run. Inside a ball.
So you get the good ones win early.
And they had their chance, you know, and they filled the bases. Oliver Drake and Andrew Vasquez getting loose in the event Stewart runs into some difficulty here in the 6th. Inside again. I saw his command waver a little bit towards the end of the 5th inning. That's why I thought maybe He'd be done after the fifth, but the Twins want to try to extend him if they can. Pitch count still modest at 63.
His last outing, he had his longest outing of his major league career at 4 2/3 inning.
Yeah.
They're trying to get him to surpass that this time.
As we said, in his 4 prior outings, varying in length from 2 2/3 to 4 2/3, 3 earned runs in all 4 outings, and just 1 home run allowed. That came against Oakland. 2-2. Inside, and it didn't hit him. I don't know how.
Changeup. Just didn't finish it. He pushed the ball up there and it sailed arm side, inside on Gurriel. You got to throw that pitch. You got to sell it with the arm speed. You can't slow down.
Full count. The leadoff man in the 6th. Got him.
That's how you throw the changeup.
Just his 2nd strikeout, but it comes after falling behind. You got Gurriel, and there's 1 away in the 6th.
He didn't push that changeup. He stayed on top. Used the grip to take the speed off and not as slowing his body down. Looked like a fastball and had Gurriel all food on that pitch for the punch out.
Reddick with 2 singles. First one against May, the second one the only hit, along with Bregman's double in the 5th. Pop up and Forsythe retreats 2 away. We'll bring up Martin Maldonado. Maldonado over 2. He's hit 2 pop-ups to Joe Mauer, 1 in fair territory, 1 in foul. Development of Stewart retarded a little bit with some injuries that he's had to deal with. Breaking ball gets a wild swing and a miss. Fastball off the plate.
He yanks a pitch that bad. He kind of not getting extension on that pitch. He's short arming the ball and cutting it across his body and spinning off his front foot. So he's falling off toward the first base side of the mound.
Low in the dirt. It's a fresh baseball. Missed. 2-2. Ball off the plate. 3-2. Tony Kemp on deck. Given where we are in the Houston batting order, he might have enough slack to survive a walk and stay in the game. We'll see.
A little wiggle room. Gonna go back with his 2-seamer in.
Got him looking. 5 shutout innings for Cole Stewart in his backyard of Houston, Texas. game so far.
Yeah, Yuri Gurriel gets the starting off tonight with a 2-run home run in the first inning off the Twins opener, Trevor May. Cole Stewart, 5 scoreless innings tonight, 8 ground balls, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, after entering the game in the second inning. And Miguel Sano with the left leg bruise sliding to second base in the second inning. Looks like the Twins avoided something a lot worse. Great news.
Certainly didn't look good at the time. Tyler Austin has replaced Sano in the lineup as a designated hitter. He was a runner for Sano when Sano left. He's had 1 at bat. He struck out against Verlander, and he takes strike 1. 90 pitches. For the Houston co-ace, you can't call him the ace because they got Garrett Cole here too. And then they got Dallas Keuchel. And when healthy, they got Lance McCullers. And they got Charlie Morton. And they got Colin McHugh out of the bullpen.
Yeah, that's some rotation.
Oh, that got Maldonado. The term is called an embarrassment of riches, but when you have starting pitching like that, there's nothing to be ashamed of. My goodness, this is a very good pitching staff, and they look poised to do something that hasn't been done in baseball for a while, and that is repeat as world champions.
You can never have enough pitching.
1-2 to Tyler Austin. Gibson, Odorizzi, and Stewart. That's the left field. Playable from Kemp. We'll bring up Kepler. Kepler's had a couple of good plate appearances with Verlander. They've gone long. He drew a walk his first time up. Had another long at bat. Ended up in a sharp ground ball to first. Riel made the play. Well, let's see. Chris Sale was in the American League Central, and he was dealt to the East. Blake Snell's in the East. Trevor Bauers with Cleveland. Verlander was traded out of the Central to the West. Kluber's in the Twins division. Cole's here. Morton's here. One strike to Kepler. Inside. They're really, at least Verlander is really working Kepler over in off the plate.
Trying to tie him up. Should the report say that do not let Kepler get his arms extended? That's when he gets his most, where he generates his most power.
There's a familiar face and name, Ryan Presley. Tapped foul. Presley's had a good transition here in Houston. It's to be a, we talk about the rotation where their bullpen's loaded with really good arms too and good numbers.
And as we've seen over the last couple of years, the bullpen very vital to a team's success in the playoffs. Getting to the playoffs and in the playoffs.
Well in off the plate, and it's 2-2 to Kepler. When Verlander has missed in the Kepler at bats, he's missed in off the plate. Hasn't given him much on the outer half of the plate. Called third on the inside corner. 2 down. MLB At Bat is your #1 Twins app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Twins home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today.
One of those fastballs that early in the game that was borderline. Verlander was not getting that pitch. And I'm sure that was part of Kepler's few words for the home plate umpire, Marlin.
1 strike to Adrianza. And in off the plate. $100 in the game, never more than 24. That's when the Twins filled the bases with 1 out and had a chance to not only score against Verlander, but maybe put up a crooked number, and of course that didn't happen.
2 innings, he's thrown more than 18 pitches.
Hasn't allowed a base runner since Grossman's RBI double in the 3rd. And tap foul. 1-2. He walked back-to-back hitters in the 2nd and hasn't walked anybody since. So whether it's Keuchel last night, Verlander today, if you've got that chance in the early innings, you better get something done. 1-2 to Adrianza. Got him on the outside corner. And Verlander has his 4th straight 1-2-3 innings. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. It's a custom that goes back to Milo Hamilton here. They give the announcers here in Houston Cracker Jack and peanuts to throw out to the fans, but we didn't get anything last night, so I took some stuff from the hotel room. Little thing of shampoo there for that guy. Some coffee packet that I had out of the room that was left over from my coffee maker, a bar of soap, you know, the little bars of soap you get. So, you know, I'm just trying to not make Twins TV look so bad, to give the fans something anyway.
All I can say, Richard, is bless your heart.
Oliver Drake comes in to pitch for the Twins, and he'll start pitching to Tony Kemp. I'm going to start thinking about what I can get out of the hotel room tomorrow. We got to check out tomorrow. So like a hand towel, maybe?
I think you should bring some toilet paper. And some tissue.
Yeah.
Ironing board.
There's a bunt. Mauer tried to shovel it to Drake, and they nearly got Kemp. They made that play last night. And Mauer gave Drake a low shovel out of his glove, and Drake still came up with it, but not in time to get Kemp, who gets there on a bunt single.
bunt down the first base line by Kemp. It was just a tough play. Mauer wasn't able to field it cleanly. Just didn't throw it over. He pushed it towards the base. Looked like he had a chance. If Drake was stepping on the bag when he was getting the ball, he really had a chance.
Joe tried to get the flip airborne a little bit, and he just kind of didn't get much behind it. And Drake did a nice job keeping the ball from rolling into foul territory. Bunt single, and now here's George Springer.
Never understood that.
People booing,
the booing when you pick the first base. Never
just
understood.
Bunted for a base hit. Obviously, he can steal a base, right?
And when I was out there and they did it, booing, it just made me want to do it more and more.
True pitch out, something you don't see very often.
Break out those stopwatch. Fast guy at first base. See how quick Mr. Drake can get the ball to Chris Jimenez.
With Drake's delivery, and he brings the ball back, it looks like it takes him a while to get the ball to home plate. He pulls the ball back and almost reaches for the ground with it.
I got that at 1-2-7. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's enough time to give Jimenez a chance to throw Kemp out at second base if he decides to try to swipe the bag.
High fly center field. Back is Cave. Still back is Cave. Leaps and makes the catch on the warning track. Kemp played it beautifully. He'll advance to second on the deep fly ball. So a bunt single and a 400-foot drive. And Kemp is at second with one away.
Fastball right down the middle. Springer thought he got that ball. So long out to deep center field.
You could see Kemp retreat once he looked, and it appeared that Cave was going to be able to make the catch. That's a really heads-up base running play by Kemp.
You saw how far he had to go to get to that ball.
Well, a good appeal that he left too early, and first base umpire Jeff Nelson said no, he didn't.
Now, why are we booing now? Why?
The thought that Kemp might have left early from first base on that tag. Altuve's 0 for 3, lined out to left in the first. Grossman made a nice play, and then a couple of ground balls have followed, one of them starting a double play. Drake's given the Twins over 11 outings. He's pitched pretty well. Left-handers are hitting 130 against him. Right-handers are hitting 130 against him. You can understand Kemp, who probably didn't know much about Oliver Drake, saying, look, if I got to face this guy, I'm going to try to bunt. And he did successfully. So on that basis, this acquisition has been a good one for the Twins. Where it leads, of course, we don't know, but he's bounced around, really never had a chance to unpack a suitcase for that matter, and he's done a nice job for the Twins.
5 teams this year?
Yeah.
You wonder why. It's like all 5 teams couldn't have been a numbers game situation, but he's found him a home here. The second half of this 2018 season has done a very good job for the Minnesota Twins.
A couple of home runs and 5 walks, but given up just 6 hits and gotten 42 outs. And Jimenez will use a trip to the mound, and the Astros fans don't like that either. 1-1's the count to Altuve.
A high 8-ball team in the Florida State League, the Fort Myers Miracles, won their playoff game today 3-1.
Good.
Starting pitcher Andrew Couture had 7 innings, 7 shutout, well, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. And Alex Kirilloff hit a solo home run.
And Royce Lewis did what? Do we know?
He made all the 80%ers at shortstop. I think he got a hit tonight.
2-1 to Altuve. Foul back 2-2. Where the Twins have had some emerging players. Steps backward this year. This is a guy in the box, Altuve, who just keeps getting better and better and better. And if the Twins want to be where Houston is right now, that's where they will need, that's what they will need to have happen with the likes of Buxton and Sano and Kirilloff when he gets here, and Lewis and guys like that. It's not enough to get here and do okay if you want to win, as the Astros have. Your individual players have to keep getting better, and Altuve has.
You can't take two steps forward and 1 step backwards. I'm just noticing how far Altuve stands from the plate. Way off the plate.
The little open stance to boot. Two and two from Drake to Altuve.
You would think there's no way where he is in the box he could cover the pitch, a fastball away. Let's try to throw it there.
Up and in with a fastball. Drake trying to pitch around the bunt single on the first pitch he threw tonight.
Altuve's first movement with that front foot open towards the plate.
Bouncer to third. Rolling to Adrianza. To Mauer. Now Kemp going to third, and he'll gain without a throw. 2 down.
Play the new Vikings scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. With a top prize up to $100,000, it pays to be a fan.
And now Drake will try to get Bregman and keep this a 4-1 ball game. Bregman with a pair of doubles, one down the left field line, the other one down the right field line. Speed pitch. You got splitter over the inside corner.
Breaking ball.
Breaking ball. So Drake gets ahead of Bregman, who threatened to bunt. Infield playing back.
Not a bad thing to consider, but it'd be just so wrong after you're hitting the ball off the wall, the right field line, the left field line, hitting it over the wall. But good baseball IQ.
People who know him say that he is the baseball equivalent of a gym rat. Lives, breathes baseball. 2 strikes.
A good breaking ball, same exact spot as the one before.
Hit hard but foul.
.93 miles an hour fastball, middle end, just a little down. hitting that ball on the barrel.
Oh, 2 to Alex Bregman. Headed down the line, another extra base hit. On an 0-2 pitch, Bregman doubles in another run. Three doubles tonight for Alex Bregman.
Another fastball middle in. And you see the catcher has to reach back to get that ball. He set up away and he had to come back towards the hitter. Bregman was able to bring his hands in and shoot that ball past Adrian's at third base for his third double of the night. But that's not, you know, that plays, he doesn't score on that if he doesn't tag up on the, because Kemp doesn't tag up on the Springer deep fly out to center field.
That's why it's a run created by really good base running. Kemp has the speed to do something like that, but once he looked at Cave tracking the fly ball and it looked like he might catch it, he made the right read, went back to the bag, advanced, and you get a ground ball. And on the throw across, Kemp goes from second to third, scores on a double. One strike. Now 2. Drake unsuccessfully pitching around the leadoff bunt single by Kemp. Really good hitter. Got him with 2 outs in the inning. And now he's at second base. Field line, chased by Kepler, but in seats. You like pitching in this ballpark?
Loved it.
Really? Why?
Loved it. I just like pitching indoors. I love pitching in the dome. Controlled temperature, you knew you were going to play. Mother Nature didn't factor in. You don't have to worry about wind, it being too dry. Everything was just perfect.
Two strikes.
A good spot for Drake to throw a split.
Got him. Correa strikes out looking. The Astros get another run thanks to a leadoff bunt single and some smart base running by Tony Kemp. Escobar now for the major league lead in doubles. The Astros have a 5-1 lead, and this will be interesting. Ryan Presley, traded by the Twins to the Astros, has pitched in 15 ball games and pitched very well for the Astros. And he'll face Chris Jimenez, who of course who used to catch Presley. And it's Mitch Garver, not Jimenez, hitting here to lead off the Twins' 8th inning. Strike one. Talked with Ryan a little bit before the game today, and he said, yeah, he already got Brian Dozier, struck him out in a matchup with the Dodgers. Both players traded from the Twins earlier this year. Presley, the only one that will not become a free agent after this year. So his situation a little bit different than that of Escobar and Dozier and Lance Lynn, so on and so forth. 2 strikes.
A chance to chit chat with Presley on the field as well this afternoon, and he was pretty happy to be back in his home state of Texas. He's from the Dallas area, but playing for the Astros in state. He's pretty excited. And I was looking at his numbers. He's 12 strikeouts away from 100 for the season out of the bullpen.
Incredible spin rate, both on his fastball and his breaking ball. Tyler Duffy, another Houston native, getting loose behind Drake.
Look at his pitch chart. He's throwing a lot more breaking balls, curveballs actually here.
97, and he blows it by Garver. Strikeout with Presley, 1 down.
He's 11 strikeouts away from 100. First pitch fastball at 95, second pitch slider at 91, and a 97 miles an hour fastball away from Garver with the swing and a miss.
20 strikeouts for Presley as an Astro in 15 innings, and he hasn't issued a walk. And he was talking about how he brought good numbers to Houston from the Twins organization, and then you look at the Houston bullpen, and suddenly your numbers don't look so good, because they got guys in the low 2s. Sip 2.20, Rondon 2.09, McHugh 1.83. So it's not just the starters. The relievers as well here in Houston are very, very good. And now Mauer, 1-1.
Well, Ryan Presley has 9 more appearances, or 11 more appearances than any other guy in the Astros bullpen, and that's a direct correlation with him pitching a lot more when he was with the Minnesota Twins,
because the options weren't as numerous. 1 and 2. Other than a few years ago when he had a lat strain and had to be shut down, he's been healthy and durable and all the things you look for when you have a relief pitcher you want to use come October. Swung on and missed, a breaking ball, and Mauer steps out of the dirt, and it's a strikeout. Presley has picked up 2 quick strikeouts for the first 2 outs of the 8th inning. Are you game for a little excitement? Head to foxsportsnorth.com, submit a photo and message for the opportunity to be featured in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle during the broadcast, and receive $100 in scratch tickets. With the Minnesota Lottery, every day is game day. And now Logan Forsythe.
Presley's 10 strikeouts away from 100.
Fastball got almost by Forsythe before he could pull the trigger on the swing. Twins haven't had a base runner since Grossman's RBI double in the 3rd. Grossman pulled a 96-mile-per-hour fastball from Verlander into the corner, and it drove in a run, and they've not had a base runner since. Just off the edge. Presley gives an expression of, where was it?
10 pitches, 7 strikes.
So many swing and miss options for Presley, and what he's done here in Houston. Of course, the Twins were hoping for him to do it there, but just impeccable control. Replay brought to you by Carrier. No walks for Presley in over 15 innings since becoming an Astro. Check swing, strike 3. And he strikes out the side on just a handful of pitches. And you couldn't have a cleaner eighth than Ryan Presley did here tonight. Twins lost last night 4-1. Figured the Twins would have a tough time scoring runs against this Houston pitching staff. That's been the case. The best news, I guess, for the Twins tonight is that Miguel Sano has bruised his leg, but doesn't seem as if without a broken leg that the Twins couldn't have gotten any better news than what they got after they had to cart him off the field. Tyler Duffy will hope to do what Cole Stewart did as a Houston native. Mitch Garver behind the plate. Cole Stewart did really well with 5 shutout innings, and now Duffy will try to pitch a shutout frame in the 8th.
Duffy last pitched in Arlington on Sunday. 1/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 1 home run.
That was the blowout game on Sunday afternoon. Matt Belisle was tossed from the game for allegedly hitting Adrian Beltre on purpose. We'll have to wait and see about Sano. It's a ball hit on 1 hop to Forsythe, who plays it well and throws him out. We'll have to wait and see in the hopes that Miguel Sano will be able to return to the lineup at some point. Twins right now without Rosario. You saw him on the bench. Sano seemed unlikely he'd be available to play tomorrow. This lineup figures to continue to struggle to score runs. 1 down, and Yuli Gurriel will bat. Rosario trying to increase his running, but it's assumed that he will not be available tomorrow, and hopefully after Thursday's off day we'll be able to take the field at Target Field against the Royals. Polanco throws to Mauer, and a couple of ground ball outs early for Duffy.
That first pitch to Gurriel was 96 from Tyler Duffy.
Hey, I'm telling you, he's in his backyard here in Houston. He had those 10 starts 3 years ago when the Twins took the wild card race to the last weekend, and his best start was here. It looked for all the world like he was going to shut down and out the Houston Astros, and then Astros knocked him out early in the inning. I think it was Trevor May who came on in relief, and the Astros came back and won the ball game. But Duffy was outstanding, probably his best major league outing, and he came here where he not only grew up but played college ball at Rice University.
About 10 minutes from downtown. Had lunch in Rice Village today. My old Adidas rep Matt Hausman had a nice little healthy spot called Loco Cafe. It's pretty good. Rice Village.
1-2. I grabbed a burger in the mall.
At Daily Cafe.
Good inning for Duffy, and a 1-2-3/8, and we'll go to the ninth.
The Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Twins got one chance to come back and win this game, and then the final game of the season series coming up tomorrow. And the Verizon projected starters, Jake Odorizzi. In his career against the Astros, 3-0 with a 0.72 ERA. We'll see how he fares against this Houston lineup tomorrow. See if the Twins can make a game of it here yet tonight. Down by 4 runs, and it'll be Jorge Polanco facing Chris Davinsky. Polanco on the night 0 for 3, a couple of pop-ups and a comebacker to the mound. Justin Verlander gave up 1 run over 7 innings. Just outside a ball.
Chris Davinsky last pitch on Thursday, 2 innings against the Angels, allowing 1 earned run.
He's had some left hamstring issues. Polanco pulls it foul, 1-1.
Appeared in 43 games with a 3.98 ERA.
In there for a strike. Davinsky with 2 really solid years in a row. Actually made a few starts 2 years ago. Came into the season with an ERA of 2.38. Opponent batting average of 193. So you can understand why Ryan Presley, when he came over, said, hey, look, the bar's raised pretty high here. You got to pitch awfully well just to pitch to par here out of this Houston bullpen.
Davinsky's fastball, 92 to 95, and he had a
Stroke to right and deep. And gone. A home run for Polanco. His 4th of the year, and it's 5-2. Polanco with a 9th inning home run tonight. Of course, if he'd hit one last night, Twins would have taken the lead. They had the bases loaded when he struck out to end the game, but he starts the 9th inning with a long ball. Pretty much the same pitch, not thrown as hard. And he tucked it inside the foul pole for a solo home run. Trip to the mound, 355 feet in the measurement. And Strom, the pitching coach, with Grossman due up next. He's got 2 hits, including an RBI double.
always loved how we when you're talking on the mound, you had your hand over your mouth and you have your glove over your mouth. I guess this day and age, yeah, but back in the day, we didn't have the equipment to be reading lips and just don't get
well,
it.
not every game was televised. Now every game is televised, and the feeds are seen in the clubhouse, and you know, there are enough lip readers out there, amateur lip readers, who can figure out what's being said out there
and relay it so it could be used.
Why take the chance, right? Outside to Grossman.
I guess being out there and knowing what we're saying is like, we're not saying much. Just come out here to give you a breather. You know this guy, how you gonna attack him? Boom, there you have it.
Missing inside, 2-0.
Davinsky has a good split changeup.
Roberto Osuna getting loose. There's the inside corner, 2-1. Way out in front, and it's 2-2.
Back-to-back changeups to get him back in the count at 2-2. Talking about being able to throw your off-speed pitches and hit and fastball counts, and that was a prime example. He had Robbie Grossman way out front. Another changeup.
3-2. It right now would be a save situation for Osuna. Grossman doesn't even have to reach, but he does with a walk. Davinsky is going to be taken out of the ball game here, and Osuna is going to come in. A.J. Hinch to the mound. Will have a pitching change. Davinsky facing 2 men, unable to retire either one. And with Cave, Austin, Kepler coming up, it'll be Roberto Osuna in a save situation with the Astros up now 5-2. out 3 times tonight. We'll see what he can do against Roberto Osuna. Was reinstated from the restricted list on August 4th after serving a 75-game suspension levied by Major League Baseball because of domestic abuse allegations while he was a member of the Blue Jays. And the Astros took a bit of a PR hit for acquiring Osuna. You can see what he's done both with the Blue Jays and the Astros.
He's done a heck of a job since he's been traded to the Houston Astros.
Cave takes inside. He got hit. Ball 1. Cave, and then it'll be Austin.
Fastball 92 to 96. Slider 87 to 89, and it's a very good changeup.
High fly to center. Retreating a Springer, but he's got plenty of room. And Cave, a little too much launch angle. That sounded good leaving home plate. And we've seen Cave hit balls like that keep on carrying, but that one did not one away.
That was a good fastball down in the zone. Had that ball been up in his honey spot, probably would have hit that ball a lot further.
1 down, and now Austin. Austin has, since replacing Sano as a pinch runner in the 2nd inning, struck out looking and hit a fly ball to left. Busted his bat, but he got a base hit to right. As soon as they get the tying run to the plate, and Max Kepler.
Houston and Austin has 2 hits in this series, and all came in the same fashion. Right field.
Off the end of the bat.
Slider on the outer part of the plate. He was able to poke it where there's no Houston Astro defender at.
Kepler with a walk, a hot ground ball fielded by Gurriel, and then he was called out on strikes in the 7th. Drilled and caught by the first baseman Gurriel to end the game. Kepler hit a rocket and Gurriel picked it off and turned it into a double play. That might have scored 2 had it gone to the corner. The Twins would have had the tying run at 2nd perhaps, but not to be. Nice response by the Twins in the 9th inning, and Kepler just absolutely smoked this ball. See where Reddick was playing Kepler, and Gurriel made a nice play, doubled up Austin, and that's the end of the ball game. Anthony LaPanta, the Twins didn't do much against Verlander. I guess the highlight of the day was Cole Stewart seemed to respond well, not being a starter but being a primary pitcher.